Good afternoon. Thank you, Artur Caldeira, for our pre-welcome to our new weekly meeting of European String Teachers Association in the season pre-conference Porto 2020.
Hello.
As you know, yesterday it was the Day of the Family, International Day of Family. I cannot forget first time I went to an international ESTA conference in Middelburg 5 years ago. Everybody told to me, welcome to ESTA family. It's very important family for me and for all of us, and that's why we are here together to think about our beloved music and teaching. As you know, this weekly meetings has as principal function meet our speakers and try to get more near their ideas, their personal life, and their thinking and their feelings, so that can make us more together and more family-like. Today, Artur Caldeira is a guitar player and Portuguese player is also with us for our project Fado for Strings, that it was scheduled for our conference in April. So it was supposed to make a string orchestra to play together with the Portuguese guitar, the guitar and the voice, to make a conference ensemble and a conference concert. It was not possible yet. We will try to do it in online version. So we already post the music, the sheet music and the parts and the score at our website that I invite you to visit, ESTA Porto 2020. You have in your emails the link for sure, or you can visit our Facebook page, and it will be very easy to find the page, our website, and you have the video and the score, so you can prepare your recording and send us to us to set up everything and to try to make a very beautiful video all together. We have also with us Anna Zaun. Nice to meet you, Anna. Anna, I heard a lot about her. She has a very interesting life and career. She is music in many ways. She's pianist, she's a singer, she makes so different kinds of music, but she's also a doctor. She is a physiatrist. I don't know in English you say it like this, physiatrist. Physiatrist. Yeah, so she knows a lot about our muscles and skeleton and all movements. So maybe you will want and be very interesting to listen what she has to explain to us. We have also Eliseu Silva today. I don't know if he already arrived. He's a violinist, friend of mine. We played together many times. We worked together in the school some years. So he just finished his PhD. So he's a researcher, a violinist and a researcher. And if you remember, the theme of our conference, it was bridges between research and practice. And so we have a lot to learn about this today. Maybe I will give the word to Artur first, because you already listened him, and maybe he can explain you a little bit how is Fado and how you should try to make Fado with your instrument. Artur.
So good afternoon. First of all, sorry eventually of my bad English. I try to be more clear, as clear as I can. I did already some work with the viola team of Portugal, and it was a very excellent experience. And when George sent to me this challenge to do something with the ESTA Congress, I of course, I accept with enthusiasm. The first challenge, it was to let the participators to learn a little bit of the Fado language, that is a popular language in oral transmission, not so academic. There are not many things in the academic way. And we need to be together to talk about this popular language and the improvisation about it, and practicing this improvisation. It's of course very important to be together, to experiment a lot of different things. Well, it's not possible. I give this fado. It's not a really traditional fado, because we have a traditional fado. There are maybe 500 standards. We call it tradicional, fados tradicionais, as the jazz player called the real book standards, or the flamenco players called the palos of flamenco, bolerias, tangos, etc. There are a very simple music, a very tonal music, around first, fourth, and fifth degree, and some variations after. It's diatonic, very diatonic, not modal music like flamenco. It's very diatonic. Minor or major are the only two modes that we have. And today the fado, it's very identified with this instrument, the Portuguese guitar. So I will talk first of all a little bit of Portuguese guitar, very short introduction of Portuguese guitar. The tuning is very peculiar, because it's a fifth, a second, a fourth, and a second again. So it's a very unusual tuning with octaves or unisons. So it's a very hard tuning to learn. For example, to ones who came from the guitar, we had always fourth, only a third in the middle. And there are two kinds of Portuguese guitar nowadays. There were more, but now we have two kinds. This is the Lisbon style guitar. And we have also the Coimbra from the center of Portugal, a little bit larger and turning one tone lower than this. The same proportion between the strings, but one tone lower. The big difference that you can understand in the instrument, that's the Portuguese guitar. It's like the violins, the head, it's like the violins, or violas, or cellos, or whatever. And the Coimbra guitar, it has a teardrop. The design, it's like a teardrop, and more advanced between the tenors, more like here, not so in the back. So it's this instrument who make the colors like a counterpoint with the singers in fado. The singers always improvised something, and the guitar player needs to be very sensitive to the fado singers, and like making answers constantly, and answers and challenges. So the guitar player always can challenge the singer. It's a kind of a dialogue in the real time. And sometimes people who assist fado, who are in the audience, in the typical houses of fado, sometimes they said that fado didn't happen all the time. And if you have this trilogy, the instrument, the guitar players, the singers, and the good public, maybe fado happens. So fado, it's not a musical style. it's also a poetical musical style because the words are very important in fado, and also a kind of state of mind. You know, you need to have some environment. So don't agree all the time in the shows of fado that you see in a big theater with artists, big artists like Maris or something like that, because this is a commercial kind of fado. The fado is not like this totally. And now I can show you three little examples of traditional fado. Of course, with the guitar, because I don't sing. I'm forbidden to sing for my neighbors. And I only can show you a little bit. I pre-recorded the classical guitar that in fado we called it viola, because in Portugal we have a viola family, but steel strings viola family. It's not bow strings, in fado the tradition and in the popular ways in Portugal we call the classical guitar as viola. So I recorded the viola in these three little examples of fado, just to be possible to play the Portuguese guitar in a little bit better context, because in fact the classical guitar in fado, it's like the drums in rock and roll, you know, or like strings in a big orchestra. It's the basis of all. So we can play fado without the classical guitar. In fact, the Portuguese, it's like I said, an instrument to dialogue with the singer and to make colors in the fado. So I put an example. It's the fado menor or minor fado. We think that it's the oldest fado we have. It's a very sad fado, very melancholic fado, a very nostalgic fado, only with two chords, tonic and dominant, tonic minor, dominant, nothing more. And around this fado, there are hundreds of poems, and you can have in same night 20 singers or 30 singers singing the fado menor, and maybe you don't recognize the fado menor as the same song between the fado singers, because they do a lot of different things when they sing. So fado menor. Sorry. And now. So this is only a bit of fado minor, or fado menor or minor fado. Thank you very much. And then we had the opposite. We can call it major fado because it's in major mode, only with two chords in the same way, tonic and dominant. But we call it fado corrido. I don't know how I can say in English, but corrido means correr with, and it is to run. So it's a quick fado, a running fado if you want. But the first characteristic is the major mode and a little bit fast and more happy, of course. This is this example. And with this accompaniment, with this simple accompaniment, sometimes the singers sing a poem with a lot of words, and sometimes they sing together, challenging to fado singers. One singing, I don't remember. How can I say? Emilia, help me, please, or George. Uma estrofe.
A verse?
A verse. It's not a verse. It's four verses, I think. But well, singing some words and the other responding. You know, and they can improvise words.
Arthur,
Sim?
a palavra em inglês é stanza.
Stanza.
Yes.
Okay. Each one singing a stanza and improvising the words sometimes, and the other responding, you know, and they can singing 10 minutes, 15 minutes in that way, okay? And then a fado that, and this is the last example, because there's, like I said, 500 or more, but this combines a little bit of the two styles, because it's minor mode, a little bit quick than minor fado, and with one chord more, the 4th degree, okay? And with some variations, we have a lot of fados only with this harmony. So this is the fado Pedro Rodrigues. Pedro Rodrigues is the name of the guitar player who composed this melody, okay? We had a lot of words in this fado, and I will try to show you. So, and this is cyclic, and one stanza and another stanza, and another characteristic of the fado is you can share the words. You know, you have a poem from minor fado in stanzas of 4 verses, and you can share this poem with another melody. Okay.
Arthur, don't say too much. You should keep something secret for them to want to listen you more later.
Okay. So
of course, if you want, yes.
Just to tell about the video. So the video was recorded in a beat. I've recorded the classical guitar with a metronome in my phones. So it's not like a metronome playing, of course, but if you play in the balance of the guitar, it's always in a beat. So you just need to follow the people who are who's gonna record the video. It's just necessary to follow the balance of the classical guitar. It's very easy to understand it, and I think I don't have written any dynamics in the, just some forte or something in a moment that strings must be very loud, very important, very first place. But it's just to follow the dynamic of the melody, and it's very easy to understand.
Thank you, Artur. I think everybody of you know, but also for the ones that are following us on YouTube, you can see just on the side on our YouTube channel the video, the teaser video from Artur explaining a little bit more about Fado, about his history. And you can find the link to see the recording of Artur with Marina Pacheco, the one that you will listen and you will play together and send us your video. After, if you have some questions, you can, of course, put all the questions to Artur, that is our special guest today. And now I think we are in a right mood with our warm soul to go to meet the next special guest today, Anna Zão. Hello, Anna again.
Hello, hello.
Do you want to explain us how it's possible to be musician, doctor, physiatrist, therapist, researcher, all in one? Maybe you are following Leonardo da Vinci.
No,
Are you drawing also?
it's all about passion and to do what you love, and a lot of work, of course, but it's a passion. It's a lot of patience, and fortunately, I have the luck to kind of reconciliate all these passions. So and it's a pleasure for me to be here talking with you and to join this meeting, this ESTA family, and of course, first of all, I would like to thank you for your kind presentation, of course, and I'd like to reinforce my congratulations to ESTA Conference Organization Committee for all the effort to keep us together, and it has been a grateful experience to meet you all at Saturday afternoon. I think it's a very good idea. Congratulations. Yes, and yes, I was a musician first.
Yeah, I would say you start with music. Yeah?
Yes. Yes. I started my studies in my town in Esposende, then in Conservatório de Música Carlos Gulbenkian, then in ESMAI until 2005, and since then I tried to regularly participate in concerts as soloist with orchestra and chamber music, and to do some masterclass to continuously improve my performance. I think it's I believe that we can always improve, and learn without the college is an enriching experience. And as a music teacher, unfortunately, I have a little bit experience, and just during a few years when I was younger. I really liked it, but nowadays it's impossible. I have no time.
Wow, I was, you know, Anna, I was just thinking, oh, woman, multitasking. What's this thing? Maybe when she play, I'm playing. Oh, I feel this muscle and this muscle. What can I research to make it work better? Which exercise to do? Ah, no, another muscle. Ah, this is yes. So after, if you say you are a teacher, I can imagine you are teaching and you say, oh, you play this. Which muscle are you moving? It's really like this. Your mind is always like searching or researching and music and.
Yes, it's difficult to create barriers, because I always think, and yes, it's. I can say that sometimes when I'm walking and I see someone in the street walking in a that has a change in pattern, in gait pattern, I think as a doctor. So when I go to a concert, I cannot think as a doctor too, as a musician, of course, as a doctor. And yes,
But
it's
you
me.
never thought about music when you see someone walking not so good in the street.
Sometimes too,
You don't
because
think that he is not in time.
sometimes, yes, sometimes too, because I can explain, because one of my areas of interest is to use music treatment in the rehabilitation of patients. And I also use music to rehabilitate, to train gait and to train balance and to train neurological diseases. So yes, I think of music.
And I think you also are doing distance consultation now.
Yes, yeah, distance, but present one too. Yes, I'm working.
Also,
Yes, both things.
but just for all our members of our family, if you need something, maybe you can ask Anna by tele consulting.
Yes.
She will help you, maybe.
Yes, if you need.
I have one question, just but it's like a question to make you speak more about you, of course. But it's quite interesting. Is that, of course, it's very easy to think that music help medicine.
Mhm.
But how medicine can make music? Is that happen or not? Is that happen music in medicine?
Yes, because medicine, it's. I always think that I could give more to people as a musician, and as a doctor. I think it's a way to give something of us to the others in a different ways. Yes, and medicine, it can be a way of art. Yes, too. It is objective, but it has a subjective way too. Has musician, as music too. Yes.
Mm.
Music, you have the rhythm that is more objective, but you have a lot of other things. You have the color of the sound. You have your relation to the instrument. You have a lot of things that matter when you are performing. So all these fields are a way of art, I think, and you can express, and you can be connected, and you can do it in an objective and a subject way. It has both, I think. And yes, I think it was quite a natural thing, my involvement in musician and medicine and music medicine and musicians medicine, because as a medical doctor and researcher, I was concerned about musicians' health, of course, and it's my PhD research field. And not only because I am a musician, but also because during all my life, I realized some of my musicians colleagues developed some playing related problems, and many of which could have been solved if musicians had had access to specialized medical care and an early approach of their disorders. And some of them had recurrent problems with significant impairments of the quality of performance, quality of life. And some of them even had to end their career as a musician. And for me, it's represented a huge problem, a major problem. So therefore, during my career as a medical doctor and specialist in physical and rehabilitation medicine, I specialized in musicians medicine as well, in pain medicine and sports medicine. And it was a really privilege for me because I could work in some international centers dedicated to musicians medicine. And yes, it has been
It happened that you
enriching.
sing. Anna, it's happened that you sing in your work when you are in the hospital. Do you start to sing there or not?
Yes.
Sometimes you have.
Always. And yes. Sometimes in mental singing, of course. And I always hear music during my visits. And I always ask my patients if they want or not. Till now, I have no patient that refuse to have music during the consultation, during the visit. So I always have music during my day, and even when I perform some kind of interventions like infiltrations and ultrasound guide injections. And when I do that more invasive techniques, music is really useful because patients feel more relaxed and feel less pain during the interventions. And music is quite important for me as a doctor too, of course.
Thank you, Anna. Well, we got to meet Eliseo. We come back to you later, Anna. Thank you very much. Eliseo, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. How are you, George?
Oh, hi, Eliseo.
Can you listen to me?
Thank you for coming.
No, it's
Thank
my
you for
pleasure. It's
proposing.
my big pleasure.
You are also a doctor, but a PhD, not a doctor of the hospital. Do you want to show a little bit about you? How it happens that you go to make research?
Oh, it's a very interesting question. Because I always felt some sort of attraction for the science, you know, for why things work, and I was wondering. Remember when I studied my violin, it's my main instrument, in the school and the university. Sometimes I went to the anatomy book to try to understand which muscle and which bone does it work, and what can I do better with the position of the hand. I remember these kind of things.
Do you know
And
Anna
actually,
Zaun? Do you know Anna Zaun?
yeah, I know her. I met her in a concert with the quartet. Actually, it's very interesting because I met her in a. There is a composer called Rui Soares da Costa, and we were playing quartet music from him. And Anna were there, and I didn't know her. And then we started to speak about, and actually this kind of subject about anatomy and the functioning of the anatomical functioning. And actually, I showed that to her, and it was very interesting to meet her.
Nice, Eliseo. And I can see a Portuguese guitar there. Do you play Portuguese guitar also?
It's
I don't know if
Portuguese, you know?
everyone can see, but on the background there are a Portuguese guitar. I can see that.
This one?
No. This is your Portuguese violin.
Portuguese, no. It's just for decoration.
Do you ever play fado, Eliseo?
Yes, we have interesting recording because we have done some years ago. We have done a project called Revisited Fado with my ensemble, and we have asked some composers like Eugênio Mourinho, Fernando Lapa, and they have also Isabel Rocha, Manuel Maio, and they have made some arrangements for string ensemble of very well-known fado like Foi Deus from Amália, It Has Been God from Amália Rodrigues, Portuguese fado, and other fados like this, and it works different and very interesting, you know.
Yeah, I don't know if everybody.
I never sang it.
No, but playing, yes. Yeah, I don't know if everybody knows, but Eliseo is is a violinist virtuoso from Portugal who is building a international career, but he is also teaching in social. How do we say this in English? Teaching in a special social places to help more poor people and to help them with music. Do you want to share with us your experience about that?
Oh, it's very surprising. Thank you. It's with I share with all pleasure. It's everything started in just to have a really fast comeback to the how everything worked. I started to work many years ago. I think it was like when I came from Berlin. I was working in Portugal in a Curso de Música Silva Monteiro. It's a private school, and usually back there, Silva Monteiro was I can say it high society school, so there were a lot of piano players, and from the high society mainly. And I wanted to do something different. And I asked to the director, is it possible to give some lessons to the most poor neighborhood? Actually, it's very nearby here. It's like I don't know, 300 meters. I want to try it, you know, because I always believe that music has the power to change lives. And I remember I was in Aleixo. Do you know Aleixo?
Aleixo, yes.
Actually, Aleixo was destroyed, but it was at that time it was called the mouth of the hell, because it was completely crazy. It's incredible environment, and I have been there just to try to show the violin. Many of them didn't even know what a violin is, and second time I went there with my shirt ragged like that, just to become a little bit more closer to them. And actually they started to like it, and they gave me like a class of 30 guys, but starting with orchestra. And actually it was a researcher's study. I've done it in my master, and very in a very fast presentation. The results were amazing. In 3 years, only one kid just gave up, and all the other kids were made related to them. Lots of questionings and analysis of the scholar grades, and we spoke with the teachers, with the parents, and actually it vinculated more to the school. They become more aware how to work in group. They become with much better grades than the other kids in the school. Then actually this was what is called integration, social integration, because in the same orchestra there was the highest society and the lowest places of the Porto place. So we had, just for you to have an idea, we had a daughter of 2 judges over there, and we have someone that even didn't have parents, you know, and sometimes they didn't have money to have dinner because they lunch at the school. So in the beginning was crazy, but Porto City Chamber just loved it and spread it to Viso and to Circle, and now we have wonderful orchestra, and we have recorded the CD,
yes.
and we'll release it.
Yes, really interesting projects. Just one more question, because we speak about Portuguese guitar, and because you travel a lot and you play a lot around all the world, do you think we could say the Portuguese violin? What are your listeners saying?
Do you know?
They found some Portuguese sound on your violin. What's happened about that?
In my violin?
No, we could say the Portuguese violin or not?
Do you know that there is the Portuguese violin called Rebeca Chuleira? And I'm learning,
yes.
you know, and it's very interesting because it's connected to the tradition of our music, and it's very smaller, but it's very beautiful. I'm making some arrangements for normal violin, but from this Portuguese violin, it's amazing. It has centuries, you know, and it's from
usual played in the north of Portugal. It's usual played in north of Portugal in folklore.
It's from Esposende, from the city of Anazão.
Rebeca Chuleira or Rebeca Ramaldeira. It has the 2 names. With
it's a kind of
shorter arm.
It's a kind of violin that starts on 3rd position or 4th position. No, it's like
this. Sort of,
yes,
with
like
a strange sound. Yeah.
Thank you, Eliseu.
Thank you,
Anazão. Do you ever sing fado?
I tried, but not in public.
Do you know some technical issues about fado? Because I know fado singing is different from normal singing.
Yes, it's not my specialization, so
okay.
It's better not.
Because I heard some singers. I cannot also speak very well, but I heard that you have the breast voice, you have the head voice, and you have the fado voice. Different. I don't know. Maybe we need to learn about this with Artur later. So maybe now it's time, because the clock doesn't stop and we are very far in our time. maybe it's time to open the discussion to our guests. Anyone have some question to our special guests today?
I am interested. Hello, everybody. David.
Hi,
speaking.
David.
Hello. I'm interested in understanding how much the new discoveries in pedagogy, maybe in anatomy, can really change our pedagogical way to teach and to approach the learning an instrument. So if you can say something, both Anna and Eliseo, about this kind of approach.
Yes.
Do you start, first ladies?
Thank you. Yes, I think teachers have a crucial role in the prevention of pain in their students during the treatment plan, working as a team with doctors and researchers. I think it's hugely important to build these bridges because teachers are the first line, the ones who are regularly evaluating students' performance. And I think teachers, they should be aware of some signs such poor posture, involuntary fingers movement, muscle tension in neck or shoulders, and bad wrist position, and to know when to refer to medical care, of course. I think they also play a role during the treatment process because they are important to implementing some measures and working together with medical doctor when students have a medical problem, and giving us good advices, doing a follow-up of the study routines, because it's really important to tell students to do more rest periods, to do some stretching, some other kind of exercises, and to plan all the study, to do mental practice and other things. And of course, you can say, but how could I know what are the bad signs or when the students have a physical problem or a psychological problem? Yes, I think because of that, it would be crucial to that teachers themselves have some education about musicians' health and ergonomics and anatomy. And I know some music schools that in some music schools, this is already a reality. So I think it's really important, this connection and these bridges, and we can help each other, musicians and helping students. So I think we should work together. And Eliseo,
David, to be about the violin precisely, because my study has been like I've studied it in a lab during almost 7 years, and we have tried thermography, we have tried electromyography and cinematic, and we wanted to understand a little bit better the anatomical functioning of the hand. And there is something actually this scientific approach to the performing hands of a violinist. One of the most important things was exactly to make the approach to the pedagogical way of teaching. And one of the most interesting perspective it has brought to some people that have started to understand a little bit better this kind of mechanism. For when a kid starts, it's very important. For instance, just one little changement that can change everything. It's like the position of the left hand. It must be with certain angulation in the metacarpal phalangeal articulation, and this is some kind of relation with the first finger. And when you start this with little kids like 3-5 years old, even 7, when they start, because I teach many ages, actually they advance much faster. They play more precisely and more natural with more relaxed position, and actually it's something that has a relation to all the left hand mechanical functioning of the hand even later. So it will help them a lot, especially in difficult and demanding passage in the violin.
Yes, some practical things that you can try to see in your students is, for example, if they have some tension in the shoulders, left shoulder is worse, and in neck, because it can impair even the dexterity and the velocity of your fingers, the movement of your fingers, and the quality of the sound. So you should try to encourage students to be more relaxed, with the shoulders not elevated but depressed, and the neck more aligned as possible. So there are some strategies that I think it's important to be aware, and it can help a lot students, and it can prevent the development of injuries and pain problems.
Thank you very much.
Oh, I'm sorry, I was without the microphone. I was saying thank you, Anna and Eliseo and David, for so interesting questions and so interesting answers, so interesting knowledge and sharing. But thank you very much. Any more questions for our guests?
Well, I would like to ask the same question to Arthur. If there is a way in which traditional music can help pedagogy.
Well, I'm a very suspicious guy talking about that, because I think popular music are the best thing that we can use to learn music. Why? Because every music was born in popular music, and someday there were a kind of academization of the music. If you think, for example, about the genius of Mozart, and forgive me if you are thinking that I'm gonna say a large sin, but Mozart in his time, maybe it's like today you have André Rieu. It was an entertainer. His music in his epoch, it was for entertainment. So it was a natural music for those people. They learn it like you learn popular music today. And of course, I have formation in classical music. I teach in the same school as George. I have a master's degree and I'm doing doctoral studies, but I never left the popular music. Why? Because in popular music, you have this kind of freedom to do some improvisation, to be more yourself, you know, because there are some codes, but oral codes, not theoretical codes or academical codes. And I think if you have some practice in this natural and with intuition, I don't say the adjective, but codes with intuition, your intuition, you know, I think it's better to all music that you play. Of course, this is a large thinking. We need to be careful with those things because, of course, the big proportion of the teachers don't have this natural learning in popular music, because sometimes the people who teach today, they start, like Eliseo says, like when they are children, okay? And it's like today we say about the specialized teaching of music. What is specialized? What is that? There are Anna Zhang, who is a doctor, I think today. She specialized in medicine beginning with 3 years or 5 years. No, of course not. But in music, we think that the people must be specialized from 3 years and after, you know. And music, for me, it's so large, so big, a so big world with so many languages that it's impossible that a musician can call specialized only in one way of music. This is my thought. Of course, I play an instrument with a large tradition, of course, in popular music, because guitar, it's maybe the instrument who had more different styles to play, from gypsy jazz to flamenco to South American music to fado. So a lot of things. But I think that it's very, very. Or violin you had also a lot of different things, but well, it's only my way of see the music and at the same time see the teaching music. I answered I was inquired about these things about doing some creation with students in a theoretical study. And of course, I answered yes to all questions, because I think it's important to everybody who learns music. About fado, look, George, just one thing. A few minutes ago, you say something about the voice in fado. Look, in fado doesn't matter the voice. You can have a very bad voice, but it's important the expression. The expression, it's important the words, the way that you say the words, you know. You have some good fado in the fado history with a very bad voice, like, for example, Alfredo Marceneiro, one of the biggest. It has no voice. Why is the best? Because the way of expression. And I think when we start just academic, forgive me to say that, academic music, we think a lot in technique, and the expression goes in second time. In popular music, it's not like this, it's the opposite. It's the opposite. I know we need technique, of course, but music, it's art, it's expression, first of all. It's a language, and we need to express it.
Thank you, Arthur. Very
Thank you.
inspiring. Well, we are really in limit of our time. We have time, few seconds for a last flash question with a flash answer. Someone have a courage to do it?
George, if you allow me,
Yeah.
I'd like to say just the last words. I'm at your disposal, all of you, as the family. If you need some help in some health problems, or if you want to share with me your experience in musicians, or health, or research, you can send me an email. My email address is anazauartsmedicine@gmail.com. So I'm at your disposal for everything you need.
Thank you, Anna. It was a nice last flash question and answer altogether. So, and that opened me a window to say all of you that all of you can send us by email, by Facebook, all channels, your questions. We will contact all the speakers to try to answer your questions. And you can also make suggestions for our meetings, questions to be answered in our meetings, and we will try to organize the best way with our speakers to speak about what you want to listen. So please go to the ways you can and write us and say all your words. And to finalize, I have to thanks very much to the Portuguese team of Porto 2020. And I want to say all the names because we were all together today. It was very nice. We are me, Jorge Alves, Clarissa Folleto, who is the secretary of ESTA Portugal since its beginning. She is like the main brain of the organization. And we have Emilia Alves, who is our administrative power book, I would say. You know her from the emails. She is a lot contacting with you. Also, Hazel Vich, who is in contact with our sponsors, and that's the time also to thank Stomastic and Pirastro for the helping and to trusting on us and don't give up in a difficult situation. But also we have together with us Ana Alves and Mariana Moraes, who were my students. So they are now starting their life like teaching, and they are helping us in the social media and posting all the information in the ways that you already know. So if you want to know more about Anazão, about Eliseu, and about Artur, you can go to our YouTube channel and listen to the videos because they are very interesting. And for next week, you know, every Monday and Wednesday we have a new video, and next week we have again Phil from ESTA UK. He will speak about the European postgraduate course for string teachers. And Wednesday, Ruth from the European Council will, as a video, speaking what is European Council. It was a proposal of Mark. I think Mark is with us today, yes? No, but he was. I saw him. So she will speak what the European Music Council is helping music and teaching. So see you next Saturday, same time.
Roger.
Yes.
I would like. Can I say just a little few words?
Okay.
Very fast. I would like to thank, because I didn't do it in the beginning, to ESTA organization for the invitation, and congratulations to all of you, because in these so difficult times you have made an incredible alternative to put this so great initiative on its own foot and can reach so many other people. So congratulations for that.
Thank you, Eliseu, and thanks everybody, and special thanks to Tomastic and Pirastro. Bye-bye. See you next week. Thank you for attending.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye-bye, everybody.